welcome to IDT Talks. I'm Anastasia Lavrina. My guest today is a British journalist, Neil Watson. Hello, Neil, and welcome to our program.
Hello there, and thank you for inviting me to speak to you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We know that this week, Minister of State of the United Kingdom for Europe and North America, Leo Docherty, visited Azerbaijan, where he had many very nice meetings, I would like to say. And in our today's edition, I hope we will have a chance to answer the key questions on the future cooperation between the United Kingdom and Azerbaijan. And my first question to you, two sides spoke also about security in the Caspian Sea. Could you tell us more about the role of the Caspian region in the United Kingdom security policy?
Well, I think the fact is that, first of all, it was a very, very warm visit, I think, between Mr. Docherty and his Azerbaijani counterparts. In terms of the security in the Caspian Sea, I think a lot of it revolved around energy security, and it really was a re-evaluation, and it was a substantiation of Azerbaijan's current and potential role in maintaining energy security across Europe. And that was the first and foremost emphasis of the visit, I feel. He reiterated time and time again about the long-standing relations between the UK and Azerbaijan in terms of energy connections, but also the way that this was going to develop in the future. And in many ways, he was also praising Azerbaijan's staunch support of Ukraine in the conflict, its bravery for this, and also the fact that Azerbaijan really does represent a diverse supply of energy for the future for vast swathes of Europe away from Russia. And this came time and time again. So that was really what it was about in terms of energy security in the Caspian Sea. But also we touched on other elements as well, particularly to do with the Middle Corridor and how that also is going to help vast swathes of Europe in maintaining supply of other goods. Again, detracting away from over-reliance on Russian transportation.
I mean, that's for sure. Azerbaijan has always supported the territorial integrity of all countries in the world. And coming back to the key element, my first question to you, which I mentioned before, it's about the security in the Caspian Sea and energy pipelines. You rightly mentioned that the United Kingdom is also interested to see the development of the Middle Corridor and the active participation of Azerbaijan in this project. But do you know how exactly two sides, United Kingdom and Azerbaijan, are planning to develop its cooperation in the security matter, including the Caspian region, including the South Caucasus region? Maybe you have some information about the particular programs on how two sides may work together.
From what I've seen in the media, the actual details have not been completely released about how the two countries are going to work together in this way. But there's no doubt that the UK is very experienced in security matters, of course. And it's going to lend, in fact, Mr. Docherty did pledge to lend British expertise in maintaining security, both in terms of the Caspian Sea, the Middle Corridor, and other things, in order to obviously stop illicit transportation of drugs, of armaments, and other things, using those transportation links, those connection links. So I think that actually, in many ways, it would be very unwise for them to make every element of this cooperation completely visible. I'm sure that this is something that's being worked out at the moment.
Neil, do you think that there should be a specific attitude of the United Kingdom towards the position of Iran? Because Iran, one of the states in the Caspian Sea, and the future development of the region, the relations between Azerbaijan and Iran will play a specific role on the future development of the full region.
I think so, because certainly the UK, as you know, the UK and the United States are two of the foremost enemies of Iran. And in many ways, they quite rightly regard Iran as being one of the greatest threats to the peace of the world at this present time. So I think that certainly the UK has a lot of intelligence related to Iran, and is using every possible method of actually trying to find out what Iran has got in terms of armaments, to find out what its future policies are going to be. And certainly at the current moment, where we see Iran on the point of dissolution in its current form. We see some devolution potentially happening there. Iran is eventually going to emerge in a different form, and I'm sure that the UK and MI5, MI6 are actually working very, very hard to actually find out what that's going to be and what the implications are for the UK and for the West as a whole.
Neil, the site spoke also about the organization of activities to protect the state border on the liberated territories and the work underway to create the necessary infrastructure. How do you see this process?
Well, the fact is that obviously the UK very much supports the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, and that was reiterated on numerous occasions. And I believe that they will be standing behind Azerbaijan as it actually sees the Russian so-called peacekeepers leave their role, which I believe is going to happen in 2025. I think the UK will be providing some infrastructure behind that to actually allow that to take place, and that so no side, Armenia particularly, but also Russia, can try and take advantage of the void that is left by the Russian peacekeepers. So I think the UK will be providing some assistance technologically in the first instance. Certainly will providing advice and know-how and regarding logistics and strategy, and about how this can actually be maintained in the future, so that the borders can be maintained in the future.
So, Neil, did I understood you rightly? The United Kingdom are willing to be even more active in the region when the Russian peacekeepers leave the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan in 2 years.
That is my understanding. I mean, Mr. Docherty himself said that the relations between the UK and Azerbaijan in the future will be more multi-vectored. We spoke very much about security, and I'm sure that it is going to play its role. I believe that Azerbaijan for the UK is a more important country now than ever before because of the situation with Russia, with Ukraine, and also indeed with regard to the Brexit as well. I believe that the UK is trying to maintain good relations, escalate relations with the greater swathe of countries at the moment. And Azerbaijan is a very important country for Azerbaijan, and maintaining its security in the future is very important to UK foreign policy in the future.
Neil, but we also know about the European Union mission to Armenia on the border with Azerbaijan. So from one side, we know about the European Union mission. From the other side, as you already mentioned, the United Kingdom is willing to be active participants of the process, negotiations or peace development agenda in the region of the South Caucasus. Don't you think that it can bring some, I will say, dissatisfaction by any other countries or any kind of destabilization in the region of the South Caucasus?
I think that there is an issue there, definitely. I mean, the fact is that as things stand at the moment, this mission is taking place, the EU mission is taking place without the endorsement of Azerbaijan. And certainly, as we've said in previous talks on other programs, is the fact that one of the dominant countries within the EU is France, which is vehemently pro-Armenian. So I think that there's the potential there for being some problem in the future between the EU and Azerbaijan, EU and the UK. But I don't think it will make things inherently worse. I think in its way, ultimately, the EU does want to see peace in the South Caucasus. The UK does as well. It's just that we're coming from literally different directions on this thing. So I think that there may be some dissatisfaction from those countries in the EU that are vehemently Armenian, particularly France. But I think ultimately this won't have a major impact.
Neil, a very interesting point which was raised in a Munich conference by the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev. He mentioned that checkpoints should be established at both ends of Zangezur corridor and at border between Lachin district and Armenia. This is quite logical. Don't you think that United Kingdom, for example, may decide to support Azerbaijan in this position? Because if the United Kingdom, as you mentioned, also willing to see the peace development of the region and willing to cooperate with Azerbaijan on the security matter on the border, that can be one of the steps forward.
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, certainly the introduction of these checkpoints is absolutely logical, and it's a way forward, I think, towards getting some mutual understanding between the sides and actually setting some of the foundations for the peace, which is inevitably going to happen sooner or later. The UK has a great deal of experience of introducing borders. We've actually had to reintroduce some of our border checkpoints in the UK since the Brexit. So I think that the UK, this is one of the ways that the UK will actually lend its know-how, its technology, its infrastructure towards actually assisting Azerbaijan in setting up these checkpoints in a very, very standardized, logical, technologically advanced kind of way.
And my final question to you, all of this activity, can we say that United Kingdom relies on Azerbaijan as a long-term security partner in the region?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact is that the relations between the UK and Azerbaijan go back 30 years. Since the contract of the century in 1994, the UK has remained the staunchest contributor of foreign direct investment into Azerbaijan because of the machinations of BP. Generations of politicians, of prime ministers have actually visited Azerbaijan, made very warm statements. But now I think with the advent of the Brexit, as I said before, because of the necessity to maintain relations between the UK and other countries, and the fact that Azerbaijan is a very stable country in a very hostile region, the fact that it's sandwiched, unfortunately, between Iran and between Russia, and yet maintains this bulwark of stability, a westward-facing country. I think that there's every chance that the UK and the Azerbaijani relations will actually ascend to a higher level in the future. And I think we're seeing that. The visit of Mr. Docherty was very much to reaffirm this in numerous ways. So I think the future looks very good for our relations.
Neil, thank you so much for joining IDD Talks today. It was a real pleasure to talk with you.
A pleasure to speak to you as well, Anastasia, and to your viewers.